The screen.
No.
I'm sorry, the screen. It's not visible now.
We need one.
Okay, so when we are talking about the attitudes to the meetings, it is very essential that the attitude is such that all the people who are involved or who are taking part in the meeting, they want the meeting to succeed. And for that, we all should be readily available as well as very positive to take part in the meeting. There may be some reasons for which the people who are not interested in attending the meetings, there can be different reasons for that. The one reason can be that individuals think the leader who is taking the meeting doesn't have that attitude of a leader. We all know the leader is the one who manages, who leads from front, who listens to everyone's voice, everyone's concerns, and what they feel like. So if the persons who are attending the meeting are of the notion that the leadership is very poor, they would not like the meeting. As well as if the meeting doesn't have any clear goals, a meeting agenda should be very crisp and clear. We have already talked about it in the previous session. So if the goals are not clear, if the individuals who are attending the meeting, the one who is heading the meeting, they do not have commitment for the betterment of the institution, if they are not committed to work towards the efficient functioning of the school, so it may be one more reason that people don't like the meetings. If a meeting ends in such a decision which we doesn't reach to any conclusion, so the meetings which have inconclusive decisions, they are again not liked by anyone. If one teacher or the head teacher is too dominating, too aggressive, either by his words or his deeds, his gestures, his voice, then the dominance of one individuals, even if it is the head teacher, it may be one reason that people don't like attending meetings. If there are some hidden agendas which were not clear to all the attendees previously or prior to the meeting, and suddenly those agendas pop up, and these hidden agendas are not well practiced or well planned before, then again the teachers, the staff members, they can think that every time the meeting has been called for a particular reason, and there are some other reasons or other aspects of the school life which I have been started discussing, and then there is the hidden agendas, maybe one more reason that people don't like. Along with it, lack of preparation. If no preparation is already done, then it can also be one reason that people are not liking the meetings. The next one is attitudes towards meeting, lack of preparation, and the next one, the screen is not moving, I suppose. Is that so? Are we moving to the next one or not?
It is not.
It is not moving, no?
Yeah.
Don't know what has happened today. Nothing is going right. Now the slides are not moving. They have stopped moving. I have to do it below. It is not moving at all. चल जाना है. Yes, कितना.
ये चल रहा है.
उसको नीचे ले जाइए. It is okay.
Okay.
No, no. Let it be. I won't waste much time. We can we
मैम एक
can
बार
discuss the
स्टॉप शेयरिंग करके मैम एक बार अगेन स्टार्ट करिए तो हो जाएगा
stop sharing करके again start.
कहाँ गया?
Hmm.
आप लोग सही की फोन करते हैं अच्छा ये मोबाइल करके लिख में या सगल में आएगा नहीं ना ठीक से यस मैम इज काउंटिंग
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So we were talking about the different reasons for which the meeting is not liked by everyone, but there we were talking about the different factors or the reasons for which the meeting is not liked by the participants who are attending it. But we have to note down, we have to see the factors that help us to make the meeting more effective, and that is most important. So if we have clearly defined the purpose, we all know that what is the agenda of the meeting, what is the purpose for which uh, we all have been at one place, and there is a agenda which is very crisp, which is very clear, that is the clear definition of the purpose. For example, cultural activity has to be held in the school premises in the next week or so. So we should be very much clear about it, that the meeting is related to the preparation of the cultural activity to be held, as well as to delegate the responsibility. So the purpose should be clear, then only the meeting can be more effective. Along with it, the careful time control. It is not that the meeting is called for an hour only and the meeting is going endlessly for 2 3 4 hours, and the discussion is going wayward in a wayward direction. Nothing is very clear. So time control is again very effective when the agenda is clear, when the purpose is very clear, as well as a time frame, a particular time is being allotted to the meeting. Then all the things to be discussed need to be put in such a manner that each discussion or reaching to some conclusion doesn't take more time as was decided earlier. Along with it, to respect all the people's opinion is also essential. If the participants, be it the teachers, the faculty, the non-teaching staff, the office staff, or the students, depending upon who the participants are or who the attendees of the meeting are, if their opinions are neither wanted nor respected, then we can't say that a meeting is effective. What is the need of calling a meeting when we don't even want that all the people should express their opinion, as well as their opinion should be heard, and whether their opinions are really fruitful and efficient, then they should be taken care of and they should be included in the decision too. The atmosphere should be such that every individual can express his or her voice or opinion of what they think about that particular agenda. It is very good if the preparation is done in advance. All the written work and all the agendas, what all needs to be present during the meeting, who should be the participants, what should be the time frame, what are the different agendas to be discussed, who is the person who will write the minute of the meetings, whom we should address the meeting, who is the person whose decision will be the final one. All these comes under the preparation part. So if the preparation is done prior to the meeting in an efficient manner, the good preparation helps to make the meeting more effective. All the individuals who are participating in the meeting should be committed to the cause of the meeting. If I, as an individual, I, as a teacher, is attending a meeting, I should always be very much clear as well as committed to the reason for which the meeting is being called. Okay, and I should participate in it wholeheartedly. There should be no distraction of voice, or the ringing of phones, or any other individual coming inside and going on out. All the people who are present should be very keen to listen to the agenda, express their opinions, and reach to a conclusion. And the distraction should be minimized, even if the distraction is of any kind. And as I had already discussed during the delegation of responsibilities, that record keeping is very essential. The record keeping is essential for many fold manner. One, what all agendas or the points were discussed, now they come in the written form. Along with it, the opinions of all the individuals, and what was the decision, and what is when will the next meeting take place. If all that is recorded and is in a written form, then it could be a very good practice, as well as it could help in circulating what were the decisions to different individuals, as well as what are the requirements and what are the points which need to be taken care of during the next meeting. They can also be with us in a ready to ready manner. Along with it, the performance of all the individuals need to be assessed. If individual who is giving a lot of suggestions, expressing his or her views, and what will be better uh, about the decision related to the meeting, if someone is participating and giving his or her views, and there are some attendees who are not participating at all, they are mere passive listeners, they have no commitment, they are not keen to share their thoughts, then what is the meaning of their attending the meeting? So it is essential that the individuals who are participating, who are attending, as well as presenting their views, and are committed to the efficient functioning of the institution with the help of the meetings. Their performance need to be assessed, and then such individuals can be included more in the meetings. Those who are passive listeners can be asked to give their views, as well as then there should be some strategy that all the attendees need to express their views and need to participate with full commitment in the meetings. If there are some individuals who are putting extra efforts, their efforts need to be recognized, as well as the management who is responsible for taking the meetings and the decisions are being taken on their part, then management support is also essential. No meeting should be organized until and unless there is a need or a requirement. So, as a head teacher, an individual must recognize the need of the meeting. Meetings can be arranged only when we feel that these meetings are productive. Some result is coming out, there is some output, so meetings can be decided in such a way. We have seen many times the meetings are called, all the individuals come at a place, sit for a good lot of time, talk to each other, share ideas, but no outcome is there. There is no record of what decision was taken, and that decision is not shared to all the individuals who are related to it in one or the other way. Then such meetings, if the meetings are not productive, there is no need, and there should be some legitimate reason for meeting. And these reasons could be, if we want to share information among all the members, if we want to plan some future program, if we need some action to be taken, if these actions need to be coordinated, if there are some problems, they can be academic problems, administrative problems, management problems, along with the discipline problems. There can be different kinds of problems being in the education institutions. So the meeting can be held to seek the solutions to the problems. Meetings can be held to gather information. For example, we want to conduct examinations from next month, so a meeting can be held depending upon related to how much course has been completed till now. Okay, and if are there any students who are absent since a very long time, is there something more which need to be done? So how many rooms are available, are there some rooms which are occupied for some other kind of activities in the classroom. So different kind of information can be gathered in these meetings. Some policy can be determined related to the functioning of the school, as well as to train, to inspire, to motivate and instruct all the individuals of the educational institutions. Again, meetings can be organized. If we want that our teams, our sports teams are going for different competitions, so first of all, the teacher, the head teacher can take meeting with the coaches and the physical education instructor and the class teachers or the house masters. Okay, and then they in their turn can conduct a meeting with the students, especially the one who are participating in that kind of sport. So these meetings can help them to motivate, inspire and train in further manner. If we want to build cohesion in the educational institution, if we want each and every department and individual and faculty, teaching, non teaching, to support each other, so we can also hold meeting for that. So there should be some need required. We should question what is the purpose of the meeting, whether the meeting is required, what are the expectations from the meetings, when will the meeting be scheduled. The time schedule is very important. And this meeting, whether it will be dealing with the individuals, whether the meeting is being conducted to punish someone or reprimand someone, some individual or the students or the faculty, related to the kind of performance or indiscipline on the teacher or the students part. Meetings can also be held if the head teacher want to exert some control. So what is the purpose of the meeting? It shouldn't be like that the meeting is only held to punish some teacher. The meeting is being held to gain viability, that the head teacher wants to satisfy his or her ego. So it is essential that what is the purpose of the meeting, what is the need of the meeting. So this can be questioned too. And then meetings can be classified into different types. As I already said, that whenever any kind of meeting is being taking place in the institution, educational institutions we are talking about, and especially we are talking about teachers as school heads, as the school principals. So always the agenda is not same, the form of meeting is not same, the participants, the attendees who are attending the meeting, or the agenda, the purpose, that is not same. So depending upon for which reason, for which participants, to reach which conclusion the meeting is being organized or held, meetings can be classified into different kinds. And among this, the first one is standing meeting, which is a routine meeting. It is scheduled very regularly, once every week or once every 2 week or such that. Or for example, we are talking about a particular kind of project, then these meetings are also included under the standard meetings. Some meetings can be related to work issue, if the institution is facing any kind of work issues. So these meetings are called as topical meetings. Sometimes presentation is being done in the meeting. For example, the head teacher wants to present a particular change in the policy, or change in the examination system, or change in the curriculum of the school, or the syllabus is being changed, the uniform is being changed, the timings are changed. So what is the new vision of the school, what is the new vision of the management, what is the new policy which is being now, which will now be followed in the schools? For that, a presentation can be made by the head teacher and the meeting could be called. Such kind of meeting will be a structured meeting where a presentation is being done by the head teacher. Sometimes some meetings are held in such a manner that they have a fixed agenda, they are highly structured. What is the reason, what is the purpose, who will attend, which particular points will be discussed, then it can be called as a conference. Again, structured meeting which is related to the educational thought process, that could be called as a seminar. Some meetings are called immediately. These emergency meetings or special meetings, they are held to address a crisis. If suddenly a problem arises which is of utmost importance to be taken care of, so these kind of special emergency meetings are called as planning meetings. And day to day functioning of the school, long term issues or finance related issues, in all these are because related to the problems of the school. If a lot number of teachers are absent in during some particular time of the week, or the students are not coming to the school, or there is a problem related to the electricity issue for a very long time, if the labs are not ready, for a long time the appointment of teachers is not conducted in a proper manner, or the school is not getting enough finances, be it from the government or their management, for the day to day functionings. So such kind of issues are related to the problems of the school. So these can be called as problem solving meetings. So these are the different kind of meetings depending upon what kind of agenda, what is the need, purpose, requirement. For preparation of meeting, an appropriate format should be decided. And the preparation for meeting should always be done in advance. And I was already telling about it, we were talking that all the meetings need to have clear objectives and agenda. If even if we want to discuss two three points need to be discussed, they need to be closely interrelated to each other. Totally different issues shouldn't be discussed in one meeting itself. Okay, because depending upon the type of the problem, the type of the issue, or the agenda, or the objective, the attendees can be different, the people participating in it, and the kind of information we need to gather can be different. So the objectives and agenda of the meeting should always be very clear. What should be the venue? If a presentation is to be done, then we should have a room in which the PowerPoint presentation, it is a smart classroom sort of, where all the facilities are present. If we want all the individuals to face each other and talk to each other one to one manner, or everyone can see each other, so we need a venue in which an oval shaped table is there. If there is something in which a large number of individuals are required and it cannot be held in a boardroom, for that we need a bigger hall. If along with the teachers, students are also called to the meeting, so what should be the sitting arrangement of teachers and the students? And depending upon who are the attendees and what is the purpose behind it, the venue can be different. Okay, if a meeting is to be held along with the higher officials who sit in the state education department or so, or management, the meetings can be held outside the school premises too, so that we don't want the school's day-to-day functioning to be uh, distracted or affected in any kind of manner. The time length of the meeting, I'm repeating it again because it is included in meeting preparation too. Selecting the participants, all the agendas, all the objectives do not require the same kind of people attending it. If there is some meeting related to sports, the sports coaches, the instructors, the house masters, and the people related with sports need to be present. But if there is a meeting which is to be held related to the finance matters, then we want the office staff and the management people to attend. If there is a meeting related to indiscipline among students, then the student representatives, the school representatives, the different class teachers, and the house teachers, they must be the attendees. So who are the participants? Selecting right kind of participants for the purpose of the meeting is very essential. And what will be the desired outcome, that should be kept in mind. Along with it, what is the meeting schedule, whether a meeting should be held once every week, or once every month, or every second Saturday, or yearly, monthly, half yearly, or and what at what time of the year, at what time of the day, what should be the time. So the schedule should be planned in advance, the list of participants should be made in advance, and they should be informed about it. I was already talking about it in the previous session, in which we were saying that the notices regarding meeting should be sent at least 14 days earlier. what will be the different tools and activities required in that meeting. If there is some questionnaire to be filled, if every individual has to write his or her suggestion, or if the meeting needs to be recorded, if the audio recording is to be done, video recording is to be done, photographs are to be taken, some questionnaire is to be filled, some checklist is to be filled by the participants of the meetings, who will be taking the minutes, who will be writing the minutes of the meeting, who will record it, and if there are large number of participants, so whether the voice will be clear for each individual to listen or not, or whether we require some microphone system. So different kind of tools and what activities are to be held during the meeting, whether they have to write something, whether some sort of game can be arranged, which can be related to the mind game, breaking the ice, or recognizing some important factors, something like that. So all that has to be recorded, or that has to be procured in advance. Then there are different participants in a meeting, and different participants have different roles. If all the roles are being done by the head teacher itself, head teacher herself or himself, then it won't be possible for him or her to do each and every work of the meeting by himself. So when a meeting is held, there are different individuals, different positions, different participants, and their role should be very very clear. For example, when we are talking about the chairperson of the meeting, who could be the management representative or a government representative or the head teacher herself, then their work is to coordinate the work. They have the responsibility of that everyone abide by the rules, what will the procedure of the meeting, how to conduct and run the meeting, and how to keep the documents and records, as well as while conducting the meetings, and even after that there should be good relations being built up with each other. So a goodwill, the message the meeting sends is goodwill, as well as the chairperson would be the leader as well as guide in the meeting. So all the different agendas and the opinions will be addressed to the chairperson. Okay. The other role can be of a secretary, the other participant, whose main work will be administrative work, to organize the meeting, to send the invitations or the notices regarding the meeting, as well as record it, listening with different participants, government officials, teachers, faculty, principal, non-teaching staff, parents, society, as well as when information sharing in both the times, before the meeting as well as after the meeting when something is being decided. So listening work, information sharing work could be done by the secretary. The other participants can be treasurer. So all the financial activities need to be monitored by the treasurer. They have to keep record of the money transactions, regular reporting, how much money was procured, from where, which kind of money, and from which grant the money was given for that particular meeting or any other kind of activity. Their regular reporting need to be done, and an annual balance sheet is maintained according to the kind of meetings being held round the clock, round the year. And as well as they also advise in the financial matters of the meetings, as well as the financial matters of the institution. So treasurer's work is that all the different committee members are the one who are invited in the meeting. Their main purpose is, their main function is to participate. They have to do the work and the responsibilities, the tasks being delegated to them by the chairperson, by the head teacher, as well as the management, the government. And they should be very particular about attending the meetings, because that is also important. So when we are talking about what are the different functions, how meeting should be held in the institution, we are talking about schools, we are talking about principals and head teachers as the school leaders. So to hold meetings so that We can talk about different agendas and objectives of the school, and which help in efficient functioning of the school, both administrative as well as academic level. So the meeting should be held in such a way that agenda is there, some agenda is there. Along with it, the meeting is conducted. Time management is very essential. It is not that the meetings are held at such a time that the teachers have to leave their classes, they have to leave the practical work, and the students are just roaming in the whole school and their studies are getting affected. The meeting shouldn't also be held in such a time that when the teacher are more interested, or the participants are more interested in going back to their houses. The meetings shouldn't be lingered for a very long time and they don't reach any conclusion. So time management is very important, as well as the head teacher should keep a vigil that the meeting is focused. The main objective, the main agenda, the clear objective is always kept at the center, so that even if any individual or the participating is giving suggestion or expressing opinions which are not related to the agenda, they can be again indicated, or they can be asked to talk about the meeting agenda only. Whenever the meeting process is being held, what is the result of the meeting, whether we have reached to some conclusion or not, or whether whatever the problems were there, we have reached to the solutions or not, and what is the output. uh, Keeping in all these things, an evaluation of the meeting process needs to be done, because only after evaluating, the head teacher will come to know whether the meeting was successful or not, and the purpose for which meeting was called, it was procured or not, the meeting was conducted efficiently or not, what were the drawbacks, what were the things which were lacking, what needs to be done next time, second time, when the meetings are to be called or held. So evaluation is very essential. As the start of the meeting and objective of the meeting needs to be clear, in the same manner, how to close a meeting. It shouldn't be like that people kept on talking to each other and the meeting ends abruptly. No. When during the start of the meeting, the agenda, the purpose were being informed, the purpose were being announced in front of the participants, in the same manner, after completion of the meeting, before closing the meeting, the result or the conclusion to which all have reached, it also needs to be done, and it is very essential. And uh, the meeting facilitation skills need to be also addressed upon. So we, in this particular unit, we have talked about how meetings need to be managed and conducted in the schools by the head teacher, so that the school can be run academically as well as administratively in the most efficient manner. So this is all about this particular unit, that was about managing meetings. Uh, and now, before moving to the next one, we would like to discuss about any kind of questions or submissions or any experiences you want to share. Yes, dear students. I think there are 4 students present. Suleiman, Remendako, Muniba. These 3 I can see on my screen. So Suleiman,
Okay, okay. Good afternoon, ma.
good
Ma, I
afternoon.
need more light on clear difference between special meeting and emergency meeting.
Okay. When we are talking about these 2 kinds of meetings, special meetings and emergency meetings, in the special meeting part, it is gathered to call. It is called to discuss one subject only, one work related issue, or any task which is any significant one task only, one at a time. So that uh, especially when we are talking about spatial meeting or spatial meeting. No, the name was discussed in a different way, I suppose. That is topical meeting. It is called as a topical meeting. Planning meeting can be spatial or emergency one. So topical meeting is the one which is called to discuss one subject only and one work issue only. Whereas spatial or emergency meeting is a planning meeting. When we are addressing a crisis, when there is a crisis, this crisis can be internal or external. If there is some indiscipline issue in the school, the students are found hitting each other or hurting each other, that can be an internal issue. Or if the municipal corporation is saying that the school building or the wall of the school, it is built in an improper manner and it is built on the government municipal area, then this can be an external matter. So the meetings can be called related to the crisis which has arises, and they can be called as spatial or emergency meeting. So spatial and emergency is one. Maybe some typing mistake is there, if there is any. And these are also called as planning meeting. Whereas topical meetings are the one which are called to discuss only one subject, one issue, or one task. Is that clear?
Yes, ma, it is.
The spatial meetings are held to discuss the crisis, and these in these the notice is given at a very little notice is given. Then we can't give a notice in advance. If we have found students hurting each other or fighting with each other, and some student has got hurt so badly that a lot of blood is coming out and the student has to be hospitalized, then we cannot call a meeting after 14 days, 10 days. Then we have to call meeting in half an hour, in 10 minutes, or in 5 minutes itself. So what should be the decision to be taken for punishment of the students who have started the fighting and all? So such crisis meetings can be called as spatial or emergency meetings. Anyone else?
But ma, based on your explanation, you made mention that emergency and special meeting are the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Spatial
you.
or emergency is the same.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Muniba and Rimin Dako. These two names I can see.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
It's just an addition to what
Yeah.
we have been discussing about
Yeah, sure.
meetings.
You wanted to add something?
Yes, I want to add something about
Yeah,
how
sure. Please go ahead.
another form of meeting that we used to have in our own school, which is not usually the main meeting. We call it briefing. It usually takes place not every day, but more often, like twice in a week or once in a week before the main meeting. What usually happen in the briefing we used to have is that maybe the head teacher or the principal has some observation or something that she want to correct, or the teachers want to bring out their experience or anything they observe from their various classes within the day. So in the morning after the assembly, after we finish the assembly, when the children are already settled in the class, they are what? They are already seated after prayers, they are observing their morning drill. So immediately the head teacher will call that meeting for just 5 to 10 minutes so that she will brief us about what she has observed from the previous day. And we too, we will comment on what our experience from the previous day, so that correction and any additional things will be added to be our various classes before the main meeting. Any other big issue that we want to be discussed will be in the main meeting, but this briefing usually take place after 2 to 3 days or once in a week. That's
Okay,
how
so
we used to do it
yeah,
in
yeah,
our
yeah.
own
They can be
organization.
the regularly scheduled meeting, regularly
Yes,
scheduled meeting. So they can come under the standing meeting, which are the routine meeting, because every third day or every fourth day or once in a week, the head teacher is briefing. Okay, so that can be included under the standing meeting because it is a regularly scheduled one. Okay, okay, so good, so good. Rimin Daco, do you want to add something? Rimin Daco, are you there? Would you like to add something? These are some general classifications when we are talking about the different kinds of meetings being held in the schools. So in our own schools, in our own institutions, there can be some specialized meetings, which can be in the departmental meetings. For the example, the Department of Physics, they are holding their own meetings which are related to one topic. So they can be called as topical meetings. Maybe what are the different changes in the pedagogy of physics teaching? If the physics head is taking the meetings, it can be a presentation meeting too. So these are the different kind of meetings. Now we'll move to the next one, and let me see if I'm able to do it. Okay. Whether it is visible or not? No, I don't know what I have opened. Lot of things. Is that so? Are you able to see the screen? Conflict management. Hello, dear students.
Yes, yes, ma, yes.
Can you see the screen? Conflict management.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Now, the next unit we are going to discuss is about conflict management. We all know that whenever there are more than one individual in any kind of situation, it is not essential that they think the same way, or they work in the same manner, or they have the same kind of beliefs and attitudes and expression and feelings. So when there are a lot of differences, we can see that conflict as well as disputes, they all are part of our life. And sometimes we see that no society, no community, no organization or interpersonal relationships can be there which does not experience conflict at one or the other time in their lives. So conflict arises when people or groups are engaged for the same goal, or they are competing against each other, and in some situations the conflict can be physically as well as emotionally damaging too. And conflicts are also the cause of and the source of stress in our workplace. If any individual is facing stress or feels himself or herself to be physically and emotionally let down, or having a setback emotionally or physically, then this is a very grim situation. And such kind of situations of a conflict which leads to stress are not helpful in any individual giving his or her 100% to the cause, to the work, to the institution he or she is working in. So if there is any kind of conflict, it needs to be addressed. And we can say the situations when different incompatible activities, feelings, or intentions occur together can be called as a conflict. uh, if I am the teacher, I am teaching the students, and I want to teach them with a certain pedagogy and want to take examination or a unit test every week. So the students may feel that it is over demanding, that the teacher is over demanding, and the kind of pedagogy I am using is not easy for them to understand, and they are not learning in the manner I expect them to learn. Then we too may have conflict, because their thought process and my thought process is altogether different, and they are not very much conducive to each other. So such situation which arises in the class, it may create a conflict between the teacher and the student, because the feelings of the teacher as well as the intentions of the teacher is very clear. He or she thinks that she is using the kind of pedagogy in which the course can be completed in less time. And if from time to time students are evaluated in a proper manner, so the teacher will come to know whether the students are learning or not, and then they'll prepare unit wise, chapter wise. But the students have totally different feeling of or intentions. They may think that we have to prepare for the test every week, and it is very time consuming, and we can't study the other subject. The teacher is moving very fast, the pace is too fast for us to learn, and then again the examination, it is a burden to us. So here we see that the activity, feeling, and intentions are occurring together, but they are not compatible to each other. The compatibility between the teacher and the students is not at the same pace, not at the same page, and then conflict may arise. So these when the conflict arises, basically the conflict can be of two types. One can be called as intrapersonal conflict, which is within every individual. I am an individual. Every time the my thought process is not same. Okay, for the needs and roles which I am required to perform in my institution or in my daily life can be different, and my needs can be fulfilled in many different ways. But to fulfill those needs, those responsibilities, there are some barriers which I am facing, and there can be negative aspect as well as positive aspect. So the adjustment process becomes very complicated, and in such a case intrapersonal conflict can occur. And the intrapersonal conflict has some specific reasons. For example, the first one is frustration. When I as an individual want to reach a goal, but there is a barrier which prevents me to reach the goal, and in such cases I am frustrated. I want to finish a task in a particular time frame, but I am called again and again for meeting, or if I am called to take some extra classes, so I'm not able to finish that task or check those particular copies. So I feel frustrated, and then I am asked to submit the report cards at time. So this is the frustration. Frustration is one kind of intrapersonal conflict, the reason for that. The other one is goal conflict. We all have some goals, and these goals, some goals can have positive as well as negative features, or there can be more than one or two competing goals which one has to reach. And under this goal conflict, there are, one is approach conflict, where one individual is motivated to approach two or more positive goals. So which one to approach at right time, it becomes very difficult. There is conflict which I have to approach which goal firstly. So there is approach conflict towards the goals. Another one is approach avoidance conflict. There may be some places, there may be some specific situations in which any individual is motivated to approach a goal, and at the same time he or she wants to avoid it. And the reason can be the goal contains both positive and negative characteristics. Okay, I want to finish my work in time of evaluating the copies. Okay, so the positive is I have to reach the goal. Okay, and the positive thing is that I will complete it in time and I'll be appreciated for that. But another negative thing in that, negative characteristic of that goal can be, if I finish my work in time, I will be given more copies to evaluate, and that is negative one. So I want to approach the goal to evaluate the copies in the given stipulated time, so that I'm appreciated as well as I get time to do some other kind of work and I finish my work in time. But there is one negative aspect, that more copies will be given to me, more responsibility will be given to me, and that is the negative one. So the approach avoidance, I want to reach the goal, I want to approach the goal, but I want to avoid that thing to be done to me, that more copies are given to me. So this can be called as a approach avoidance conflict. And one more, the third kind of goal conflict can be avoidance conflict. Here the individual is motivated to avoid the goal, and those two goals both are negative ones. Okay, uh, for example, if in my class I doesn't like a student, okay, and I want to I inform the child that I'll cut marks for his talking in the classroom. But when I am asked to go to the head teacher, or I'm asked by the evaluation in charge to not to do that, then I will be the one who will be indicated that I cut marks of students. Then I want to avoid both the situations. Okay, because both the situations are the ones where I don't want to reach the goal. So the goal conflict can be of three types: the approach one, the approach avoidance one, and the avoidance ones. So these also create conflict in an individual himself or herself. Sometimes different roles may be given to an individual, and these expectations, these roles, these responsibilities are altogether different or opposite from one another. So if I am choosing one responsibility, I want to complete one expectation, but I reject the other one. So which one to be done? This role conflict, it also results in psychological stress, and it can lead to the emotional problems. For example, I can give my own example. I teach in a B.Ed college, and I take the classes of educational psychology, and I'm very very passionate about it. So I never want to avoid taking classes. I am always very keen to take the classes, but along with it, I'm also the convener of the career counseling and the placement cell of the college, and most of the time the different institutions or the company representatives, they come during the teaching hours only. So when they come, it become very very difficult for me to which role to perform. If I'm taking the classes, I'm missing meeting those individuals who are very helpful for our college, because they'll be giving job opportunities to the students. But if I am meeting those particular individuals in the same time, my class, I will miss taking my classes, and the students will suffer, as well as it will not be possible for me to complete my course in the given stipulated time, as it is a semester system and the examinations are to be held every 6 months. So there is a role conflict. Okay, when the individual himself or herself finds that they have to mutually, or they have to do some different works at the same time. And sometimes I feel very very stressed out with that, which work or which role should I perform at that particular time, which will be more beneficial to the students. So these are the intrapersonal type of conflict, which can be inside every person. What to do, what role should be done in the best possible manner, which goal should I reach at that particular time. So this frustration causes a lot of conflict and psychological stress. Sometimes the conflict is between two individuals or between more than two individuals or within some group members. So this can be called as interpersonal. And interpersonal conflicts have different reasons. One is the habits and beliefs. We all know that if I'm talking about myself or any individual, so what I am, what kind of personality I have depends upon my habits, the opinions, the beliefs I had developed all these years. uh, uh, the politics or the political identity I belong to, the religion, the lifestyle, what according to me is the acceptable behavior for especially what kind of word I think is the one I should use while talking to the elder ones. And this kind of word is doesn't exist in other people's dictionary because they have got a different vocabulary. And so we are different individuals who have grown up in different kind of environments, so have different habits and beliefs and attitudes towards life, political and cultural identity. So what is right for one may be wrong for another one, and we can't expect everyone to be doing the same kind of things. For example, if we are wearing very short clothes in India, so most of us are of the belief that this is not the kind of dress you are supposed to wear in the schools or in the classrooms or in the higher education institutions. But there may be some people from very metropolitan city backgrounds or from different countries. For them, wearing short dresses is not a big deal, and it doesn't affect the kind of environment we should be in the educational institutions. So our beliefs are so different because the kind of place we have grown up during our growing years, our attitude towards life, our expectations from individuals, our religion, our lifestyle, our food choices, all we have racial, cultural, gender differences. That means when we are meeting other people, they need not have the same kind of thought process, habits and beliefs which we have. Okay. The other one can be that the resources are very limited. For example, there is one playground in the school. One class wants to play football and the other class wants to play hockey in the same field. So here the resources are very limited. Okay, in the same way, there is only one stage. Some students want to practice and the teachers want the stage for for some other reason. They want to utilize it for some other different kind of reasons. So the resources are limited. Okay, it can also cause interpersonal conflicts when we think that we all are different in such a manner that uh, whenever something is said to us, our feelings and reactions can be different from other individuals. That is the change. Okay, for example, if I am asked to supervise the school studies in a better way, if I'm asked to collect more funds for schools, okay, if I am asked to keep my room in altogether different manner from which I used to keep it. So these examples are the situations that when some other people want us to change, and or they start making some changes in whichever manner they like. So there is difference of opinions. Okay, and in some cases we passively agree to what the other person is changing, or sometimes we resist, and this open resistance can be in the form of aggression too, physical fight too. One team says that we want to play football, the other another one wants that it needs to be taken care of and we want to plant some saplings, and you have to change your place. Limited resources is one thing, but when they are saying that you have to change the place where you play or you have to change the place where you grow saplings, so this change, when we want to change other people's lives, when we when we expect them to or suggest them to do something which they are not doing, so again conflict may arise. Difference in power and status too, and this can be because in even in school education system we have seen that there is unequal distribution of powers. For example, there is an individual teacher who is teaching computer to the 11th and 12th classes, and along with it, we also, the head teacher also gives him or her the task of uh, of printing a card, invitation card for the function being held in the next month, or ask him to prepare a spreadsheet, ask him to prepare something other, some project related, which can be done by a computer teacher only. So the teacher who is already burdened by the functions of by the responsibilities of teaching the students, taking their theory and practical classes, conducting the experiments, going to different schools for taking practical examinations, is also given some more work. So he or she is being overburdened, and we see there is difference in the power. The head teacher has the power where he can delegate some responsibilities to the individual, and the individual is in such a situation that his or her status is lower to the head teacher, and he has to comply by the orders. But sometimes he or she refuses, and when he or she refuses, the head teacher may think that I have more status, more power, and my instructions should be followed. Okay, so sometimes the skills are communication skills are poor too, and there is a clash of values and interest. If different individuals have different values, if different individuals have different interests, for example, I as a teacher want the students to attend the classes, and again one of my colleagues who is in charge of a red ribbon club or AIDS awareness club want the students to go for a field visit or participate in an awareness drive or campaign. So there is clash of values and interest. The teacher is saying only the theory transaction is not very important, the student should go for a field visit too, and I myself think that it is essential for them to attend the theory classes. My students are not the only ones in the whole institution to be taken to each and every place or campaign which is taking place in the institution. So there is clash of values and interest. So all these are the different kind of conflicts which can be intrapersonal within an individual itself, himself or herself, and interpersonal, which can be between two or more individuals or between groups too. It is not that conflicts only cause stress. It is not that conflicts only lead us to mental and emotional or physical harassment only. Sometimes when there is conflict means when we have different opinions, our opinions don't match with the other individuals, when we think differently. So in such cases, sometimes when there is intrapersonal and especially when there are interpersonal conflicts, they make us more aware about the problems. What are the different problems, why we are not able to think in the same way or at same length or at same page which the other individual is thinking. So the problems, what is the basic problem, we reach towards that problem. It also makes us realize who is involved in it. Okay, when there is any conflict, so the conflict is because of a group of teachers, one individual teacher, between two students, and between the groups of students or different classes, we come to know about that. And if we want to do some change, make some change, and a conflict arises, it also helps us to encourage change. Things shouldn't always be the way that they always lead to a very routine life in the campus too. Sometimes the change is inevitable and the change is very much essential. The change should be encouraged if it is for the betterment of the institution. And sometimes when there is a conflict between two individuals or within ourselves itself, it indicates that new skills need to be learned. Okay, for example, when I am finding, for example, I'll give my own example. When I was finding it very difficult to share and something went wrong with my laptop and I was not able to do it again and again, so Dr. Jagdamba was trying to tell me what need to be done. Okay, and I was thinking, okay, if the PPT is not running, it is better I'll present my views verbally only and we'll talk and discuss. Okay, so not exactly conflict, but our opinions were different. The same case was with my husband too, who was, by chance he is at home and he was here to help me in some or the other way, and he was saying, why don't you learn it properly? So the situation arises when there was a conflict between what I was thinking, what Dr. Jagdamba was thinking, and his opinion was, when I have made the PPT, I should try to present it. In the same way, my husband was saying that you need to learn. He was talking about the change. You need to be learn and apt in the technology too. So this indicated to me that new skill need to be learned, and this new skill is I should be now a very tech savvy person, and if any such kind of situation arises where I am at loss what to do, so I need to learn those techniques too, how to go back, how to share the PowerPoint, how, when to stop sharing, and not to panic, and learn these things in a very efficient manner. Okay, so that is one benefit of the conflict. And it is not that old habits are always good. Sometimes the old habits may arise some conflict, intrapersonal conflict too, but sometimes when the old habits need to be changed for the benefit of the institution, there is a conflict, and this conflict leads us to a way where we have to learn something new and change our old habit. For example, the students have the habit of always eating in the classroom, and due to that, the classrooms, the tables are always get dirty, and the peon or the one who is cleaning the classrooms is always complaining to the head teacher or the staff about it. Okay, so there is a conflict between the one who is cleaning the room and the students who want to sit in the classroom and eat there only. Okay, but somewhere and somehow, when this old habit of students, it is causing a lot of problem, and the next time before starting the classes, it takes a lot of time to clean the class. So the conflict is arising, but this conflict is beneficial because after talking to each other, they can reach a conclusion, they can reach a point where the old habit of eating in the classroom can be changed. In the same way, one teacher is saying, I take only these particular classes, I won't be teaching the senior classes. Some teacher is doesn't want to do the responsibilities being delegated to him or her, or the head teacher is autocratic and don't want to listen to the other teachers and the staff. So all these may be the old habits, but when the conflict arises, maybe it can help in changing the habits. Conflicts also energize us. If there is a difference of opinion, then only conflict is arising. So how we can work in more energetic manner to resolve the conflict? It can also work as a motivation for us. It sparks a curiosity too. What was the reason behind the conflict? Why we are not thinking in the same way? Why we are not ready to change? Why we are not ready to modify our old habits? Why we are not ready to learn new skills? It sparks curiosity. What was the reason behind the conflict? Okay. In the same way, it also stimulates interest. When there is conflict, we talk about it, we give our own opinions, we understand and listen to others opinion too, we try to change, and it helps in stimulating the interest. Person's self awareness is also increased by that, especially when I'm talking about the intrapersonal conflict. There are two goals in front of me, I want to achieve both the goals, but achieving one goal will put me in a situation where I have to keep the other goal aside. Okay, so now I'll have, there is a conflict, which goal should I achieve at that particular time, which is my priority. So my self awareness, what I think, what I want to do, in which field I am more expert, what is expected from you, which responsibility is to be done firstly, immediately. So self awareness also increases by that. And if we have conflicts from with other individuals, then we need to listen to each other's voice and opinions, and we have to somewhere understand why they think differently, why their habits are different from us, why their opinions are different from us, and the opinions of others matter too. So it helps ourselves in deepening as well as enriching the relationships with each other. And sometimes there are detriments of conflicts, we all know that. And these detriments can be that they create stress. Whenever there is conflict, there is a stress. and this stress, it affects our physical as well as mental health. If I have to do a lot of work which overburdens me and I'm not able to do it, and I have conflict with my students as well as my head teacher, so I will be very very tired. I'll keep on thinking about it, and then my mental health will also get affected. It also generates anxiety, guilt, frustration. If I'm not able to achieve two goals at a time, if I'm not able to avoid one thing, so it will cause frustration. If I'm not able to if I'm not able to resolve the conflict, it may sometimes lead to guilt in me too. When different individuals or a group of individuals have conflict, then there will be a climate of mistrust and suspicion in the school. We have seen it many times. Many of you must have faced when when something was to be shared in the staff room, and only few teachers were taken into confidence, and only they were told about those particular information. Then maybe a few of us who were not taken or considered to be told that information, they must have thought that no one trusts us. So there can be a climate of mistrust in the staff room. In the same way, if two individuals are talking, so I may be very very suspicious, aren't they talking about me? This will happen only when there is conflict between me and those particular teachers. If I have full faith in those two teachers, I won't give it a damn what they are talking. It won't come to my mind that they are talking about me only. So, and when there is conflict, the collaboration cannot be there. The collaboration will decrease. So if a head teacher sees or faces conflict among the teachers or the students, teacher and students, faculty and management, faculty and head teacher, so collaboration will become very very difficult. We know no individual can do all the work alone. If we want to survive in this world, human being is a social animal, be it family or community or society or neighborhood or playground or educational institution or any company, anywhere industry, anywhere we are working or living. We can't live alone, we can't survive alone. We need to collaborate with the people around us. And when there is no trust, when there is conflict, so there will be no collaboration. And when we don't trust other individual, when we have conflict, when our opinions are very different, after a particular point of time, we will stop talking to the other person, because we'll take it for granted that he or she doesn't understands what I say, and he will never agree to it, so I stop talking to them. So communication will break down. And when there is no communication, when there is no collaboration, so there will be no stability. And especially when we talk about running an organization and efficient working as well as administration and management of any organization, so communication needs to be very good. Trust in each other should be there. People should collaborate with each other and work in a cooperative manner to reach to a collective and a common goal. And if there is a conflict, then there will be instability, there will be chaos. When we are in a meeting and we have very much conflict between us, so we can't reach a judgment. Okay. And along with it, the conflict will also interfere in the judgment, because the voices and the opinions are altogether different. We are not agreeing to what the other person wants to say or what other person's opinion is. So when no one reaches a same decision, so there will be no conclusion. If I'm always in such a situation that I'm feeling conflict, mentally and physically stressed out, let down, I'm feeling, then I won't be in a positive frame of mind. I'll always think, oh, what is the meaning of my saying anything to anyone else? What is the meaning of my opinion? My opinion doesn't matters to anyone. And I'm always against other individuals, because I think people are against me. There is a conflict in our way of expressing, way of thinking, our thought process, our opinions, our upbringing, our habits, our lifestyle, our attitudes. Then it will damage my positive frame of mind. We need to be in a positive frame of mind to collaborate, to cooperate, to work to our full capacity in an efficient manner. And when my mind is not concentrated, my mind is not happy, my mind is not thinking positively, then there will be no concentration. And when there is no concentration, there is no motivation for working and learning. So all these things are very much closely related and dependent upon each other. If there is conflict, there is a stress. Physical and mental health is being affected. There is no collaboration, there is instability, chaos. No clear judgment will be reached in any kind of meetings. My mind will be more into the negative thoughts, and when it is into the negative thoughts, it can't concentrate. There is no motivation to learn, and it will become very difficult to work in any kind of environment. Okay, so the conflict need to be resolved. Individuals have different personality. Their wants are different, their needs, their values, their upbringing, their life skills, their expectations from life, their attitude towards life is altogether different. So it is very essential that we want to resolve the conflict. We need to understand what approach should we use so that we reach a common goal, so that we reach a common decision. And for that, we have to take into account individual's personality. Why the individual is like that, why his or her opinion is different. As well as we should be aware of our own style too. When I am talking to individual, any other person, or I am talking in a meeting, is it something that my voice is very aggressive? Is it something that the kind of words I'm choosing are very harsh? Are these some my own style? Especially I'm talking about, for example, when I am saying, it shouldn't be that people feel that I'm physically being very very aggressive, and my orientation is towards my authority and power position only. So that dominance, whether I am dominating or not, especially I don't know how do you take my voice or my style of speaking, but because I have been brought up in a state in India, the name is Rajasthan. A lot of desert is there, Thar desert, if you have ever heard about it. And there people, they speak in a very 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 high pitch, and to some other, the manner may seem to be aggressive. So sometimes in Dehradun, where I am residing right now, people ask whether you are angry. But if we are talking about altogether different state, there's a place called Lucknow where people talk it with so much respect. Even if they are, if even they are saying some very harsh words, you will think that they are appreciating you, they are complimenting you. Their way, their tone is like that. So dominance, this is very essential, that if we want to conflict a resolution, we should be aware of our own style, whether I am dominating or not. So we shouldn't be dominating. The other one is avoidance. Avoidance, in which this style means that we are indifferent, we want to escape from that particular situation, running away. There are some people who don't want to be in any kind of conflict. So if there is a conflict and I want to resolve, so I speak in a very harsh tone, my manner is very aggressive, then it will be dominance. If I want to run away from the situation, I think the best way to resolve the conflict is escaping from there, and I am very indifferent to whether someone reaches any common decision or not, then my style will be that of avoidance. Another can be accommodation. This in this particular style of or approach of resolution, basic thing is that the person or the parties can be very generous, they can very self-sacrificing, because their emphasis is on the common interest of the group. They are not very particular about what they think. They think that we should sort out our differences are not important. One point, one thing in which we all have the same interest. For example, in any institution, all the teachers know that their common interest is that students should learn. And for the common interest of students learning and doing good in their lives, they may be generous, they may be ready to self sacrifice their way or their style. Then this approach can be called as accommodation. One more approach can be compromise, and this is the most traditional method of resolving the conflicts, in which middle ground, we say bargaining. Bargaining, you all know, the shopkeeper says that the price is 100 rupees, and as someone who is buying, the buyer, you say ki, okay, okay, give it to me in 70 rupees, and somehow we both reach to a situation compromising where we say, neither it is the yours nor mine, so let us agree on 80 rupees, 85 rupees. So that is that conflict resolution can be called as a compromising one, in which the middle ground is found out. Sometimes a third party needs to be there. There is a requirement of the third party who can help as mediator. They are called, also called as arbitrator, who can help, and each part, they can help in getting each party who have some conflict among themselves to lose something which is of very much value to someone. For example, one teacher is saying, I won't be giving my students, I won't allowing my students to go to the playground and play, because this is the study time. The third teacher is saying, because the sports competition is very much around and I need the students to practice. Okay, so both have got their own important ones. Now, if for both, the teacher who is teaching, he values more the study time. The teacher who wants the students to practice the sport values more winning in the competition. If there is someone in mediator in between, or the head teacher who says, okay, you can do one thing, 3 days in a week you can teach, and 3 days in a week you can play or practice during the same period. So everyone is sacrifice some time of which they value very much. Okay, so this can be called as a compromise one. Another approach of resolution, conflict resolution, can be collaboration. And collaboration, the basic characteristic of collaboration is it happens only when there is cooperation, and it is considered as the most effective approach to conflict resolution. And in this, the conflict, the approach towards the conflict is changed. And for this, a shift of attitude needs to be done. And cooperation is a strategy, it is an approach in which both the parties, both individuals or both groups who have some conflict, can get more of what they want. And this kind of approach, it is for mutual gain. Both are gaining because both are working together in a cooperative manner, they are collaborating. Okay, so this can be one more approach. So these are the different kind of approaches which can be taken into account, which can be followed to resolve any conflict, be it interpersonal or intrapersonal. And to manage the conflicts, there are some skills which may be very, very effective, and we as individuals, and especially when I'm talking about a school head as the manager, as the teacher who is responsible for school leadership. Okay, for especially the head teachers, they can practice, and not only practice, they can also bring into their attitude and personality some skills, so that they are able to manage the conflicts. And for this, the first one is self awareness. Okay, self awareness means the head teacher as an individual should recognize the different kind of words or actions they speak, and what emotional response do they evoke in other individuals when such words are spoken, whether he or she is raising his or her voice, the appearance is very aggressive, or he or she is pointing a finger, and these may increase the conflict. Okay, so and the way things are being imposed by the head teacher, so the self awareness about his or her own personality, gesture, manner in which he or she says, whether it is not hurting anyone, or any emotional response is not being evoked by the words, that is taken into account. The other one is I statement. It is considered a very effective technique. In this I statement, most teachers uh, they use I for analyzing themselves and reframe a situation. Okay, that I feel, if he or she wants to say something to other individual, he himself think, if I say such things, or such things are said to me, what I will feel. Okay, when I should say these things, what I will feel, when I will feel, and I will respond in a particular manner, because so state I response I statements mean that own feeling, for own feelings, the head teacher is taking his or her own responsibility for their feelings as well as their actions. Okay, this is a conflict management technique. For example, there a very simple statement, you must have heard it many times. Don't say anything to anyone which you don't want to be said to yourself, or don't do anything to anyone which you don't want to be done to yourself. Or in other words, it can be said that always behave with other individual in the manner you want others to behave with yourself. So keeping yourself in the situations in which others can find themselves. If you are facing any conflict between you and the teachers, you as a head teacher must think and reframe the sentence as I. Okay, you as a head teacher have given some work to some teachers and the teacher refused. Okay, and then you can reframe and think of yourself, ki if such work was given to me, what I would have said, what would have been my reaction. Okay, this is called as I statement techniques. Along with it, non-verbal communication skills can also be effective skills to manage conflicts, in which we all know that action speaks more than the words. They speak louder than the words. For example, when someone says that it is really important to me, and you are saying it in very harsh words, in place of that, you can use some communication which is non-verbal, in which the importance of the work to be done is shown on in your face, in your eyes, in your gestures. So that is more important. That non-verbal cues, which can be called as a body language, basically. Okay, that is more correct word. Non-verbal communication skills is the body language. If there is someone who is entering into my room and saying please, instead of saying please come, I can just lift my head, smile with my lips, smile with my eyes. When there is a spark in your eyes, the person who is entering inside feels welcomed. Okay, so if there is any resolution, the kind of body language you use shouldn't be of increasing the conflict. It should be of decreasing the conflict and gaining confidence and a positive behavior with each other. One more thing we can say, that if the head teacher is listening very attentively, active listening, not passive listening, the conflict arises when the other individual thinks that you are not ready to listen to him or her. So that listening is very essential, that you have lent your ear to what the other person has to say, other opinions are heard to. That again can be a very effective skill. uh, we should understand the perceptions of different individuals, why they think altogether different from what is your way of thinking. Okay, no two individuals think in the same manner, because people perceive things very differently. For as a head teacher, for you, which work is to be done uh, right now, or in a particular way, can be the work of least importance to the other one, and the other person can think that a lot of time is there for it to be done. If there are 4 more days for the report to be presented to the higher authorities, we still have 3 more days. But the head teacher is thinking that if the report is present today, we can read it, we can present it among ourselves, and if there is anything which is lacking or which is wrong or which need to be improved, can be done. Okay, so the way the two individuals are perceiving the same report to be prepared in a particular time frame or manner can be different. So because we all individuals perceive things very differently, we need to understand their perceptions too, different perceptions too. It will also help to resolve the conflict. Brainstorming. By brainstorming, we can identify many different solutions which can help in resolving a problem. Brainstorming can include this, for example, what can be the different ideas, what can be the different manner, we can be more creative, what you would have done if you were in their place. So different techniques can be used. Brainstorming means when we are doing lot of homework, and we are doing a lot of brain work to resolve the conflict and finding as many solutions as we can, including all the people involved in the conflict and even the third party too. When we have many different kind of solutions and approaches to resolve that particular conflict, maybe we'll reach one common resolution. Okay, so brainstorming is also essential. Third party mediation, we have seen that, because if we choose a third party which is very neutral, then it will help us a lot. Mediators, because mediators, they do not dictate any statement. Okay, they just help both the parties to reach a place, to reach a decision which can be benefit to both of them. And because they will be neutral, they will be talking to both the parties who have a conflict in the same positive manner. We can evaluate different options. We can predict the consequences, what will be the consequence of the conflict. And when we are predicting different consequences, then we will understand whether it will be more positive or negative for our institution or our own relationship. And as well as a global perspective need to be assumed if we want effectively manage the conflict. Okay, not individualistically, not in a very narrow and restricted manner. If there are conflicts, why the conflict is there, what are our own opinions, and whether these opinions will be benefit for us only, or we have to look at the larger picture. Okay, if I am saying that I want my my school team to win the tournament, and after winning the tournament, the students will be getting lot of scholarships, and that they can get admissions to very good universities. Okay, the other thing is that time should be devoted to studies only, and by studies too they can appear for the examinations and get some scholarships. But we see that in the kind of environment we live in, and some very good universities are giving scholarships to those students or direct admissions to those students who are winning such kind of tournaments. So maybe we can think of a global perspective or a larger perspective, where we want more and more of our students to earn seats in those universities. So we can think of giving them more practice time if they are very meritorious enough in their sports, so that they can have a seat in prestigious universities. Okay, so for conflict resolution, there are different kinds of skills which can be utilized and used. To sum up the particular topic, conflict resolution we were talking about, first of all, we have to identify and state what the conflict is. Okay, no two individuals are ready to listen to each other, or they are not ready to reach a final or the same conclusion. So it is very essential, what is the conflict actually. We need to state it in the form of a statement. And that identification, that one point in about which the one opinion, one thought process or the attitude because of which the conflict is there, then we have to express concern and feelings with the I statement. We have to keep ourselves in that particular situation and condition, and reframe and rethink why that conflict has arises. Then we should listen to the other party. This is about both. One, the teachers need to listen to the head teacher, and the head teacher needs to listen to the faculty, or the teacher needs to listen to the students, and the students need to listen to the teacher, so that we can understand others viewpoint only when we are ready to listen. Okay, understanding needs listening. Until and unless we listen to their viewpoint, their opinion, their thought process, their attitude, we won't be able to reach a decision, because we are not understanding it. Okay, when one is saying something the other party shouldn't interrupt, one at a time, so that their opinion is not only heard but listened to. And if required, our own words should be repeated, but they shouldn't be repeated in detail. We should repeat what I think and why I think so in a very brief manner. And this statement is, it just caught my attention, and I think it is very essential for us in even our life too. If we want to learn the life skills, and if we want to have a better world around us, it is very essential to laugh with each other and not on each other. It will be really great in the classroom if all the students and the teachers are laughing with each other on one common point, and not that one child is the center and everyone other is laughing on it. Okay, so conflict resolution is means that we all are with each other, and for reaching any final resolution, it is very essential that the two parties, the two individuals or the groups who had some conflict, they should exchange apologies, because the exchange of apology, it mellows down, it dilutes the situation, and then only any kind of reconciliation can occur. And conflict resolution means that only that we are ready to adjust and agree with other people's viewpoint too. Okay, and for what? For the ultimate benefit and ultimate benefit and efficient functioning of our institution, especially because all this is about the head teachers as school leaders. So school leaders need to resolve the conflict in such a manner that with the cooperation and collaboration of all the stakeholders, they can take their institutions to greater heights, and for the benefit academically as well as administratively, leadership wise, yeah, management wise, in all the manners. And by this we come to an end to our session. Today we talked about two. One was about how to manage the meetings, and the other one was if there is any kind of conflict, how it can be resolved. Okay, so thank you from my side. And now, if any student has any kind of submission, query, so we are free for interacting with each other.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. And my apologies again, because I some time was wasted due to my setting process. I'm really sorry for that. But all is well that ends well.